There are a lot of different devices you can play Minecraft on, with Minecraft Pocket Edition, in a speedrunning perspective, being easily one of the hardest. From personal experience, Pocket Edition speedrunning is a grueling challenge that favours difficulty over simplicity. In most cases, smaller screens, touch controls, and a lot of other factors all combining into one makes the Pocket Edition experience sometimes not too enjoyable. But you know, sometimes that's not the case. Introducing E&G. Joining the speedrunning community way back in September of 2020, he's had a whole lot of experience with all different types of main categories as well as category extensions, holding world records in countless of them. While that's cool and all, it doesn't explain why I'm talking about a mobile runner. Get the hell out of here. Touch some grass. No. Mobile speedrunners are some of the best runners this game has to offer, and Ian is no different, because on the 9th of July, Ian set a massive new world record. Not on his PC, not on his laptop, PlayStation, or Xbox, but on his tablet. Before we begin, here's a quick rundown on how this run will play out. To give you an idea, since there are a lot of different strategies seen on Bedrock that don't apply on Java and vice versa. Of course, the elephant in the room, the run being performed on mobile. A big change that'll make quite a big difference on how the run's seen. Along with that, there aren't strategies like ocean overworlds, without doors giving air pockets to breathe underwater, as well as there being far fewer magma ravines than Java. That's just an overworld strat that's unviable. But another strat makes up for that. If you speedrun, or even if you just play Java Edition, you probably know that strongholds generate in rings. There are 8 of these rings, and the closest ring to the world origin, 00, there are 3 strongholds. However, on Bedrock Edition, strongholds generate a bit different. Past X and Z levels of 512, positive or negative, strongholds will infinitely generate until the world border, and in the closest strongholds to the origin, there are about a 12% chance of a village above. Another aspect that plays into this is that on Bedrock Edition, prior to version 1.18, will only allow you to spawn in 4 safe biomes: Taiga, Plains, Forest, and Jungle. So, if you don't spawn in one of these biomes, you'll continue to be pushed along the X or Z axis until you've reached one of these biomes. If you don't see where I'm getting at just yet, then here's an explanation. Say you were to spawn in a desert close to the world origin, but since that isn't a spawnable biome, you get pushed along to a plains about 1,000 blocks off the spawn, with a village somewhat nearby. This village is in a perfect position for a stronghold to generate underneath. With the help of a strategy named Sprint Strats, the runner does find a stronghold underneath, entering the nether through the portal room. If you can pull this off in a run, it can save tremendous amounts of time, since if you have a bastion and a fortress on the other side of the nether portal, you can get your piglin trades and your blaze rods and enter straight back into the portal room and immediately into the end. If you don't see the potential with this, then I don't know what more I can do than begin breaking down Ian's run itself. So without further ado, let me do just that. Ian spawns just over 1,000 blocks out on the X-axis, easily far enough to have a potential stronghold underneath a village. He sees a ruined portal in clear view, and as he heads up to loot it, a village on the edge of his vision. He loots the chest of the portal and gets a few tools, one being a golden sword with, looting 3, which is pretty average. Okay, while it's pretty rare to get a looting 3 sword from a portal's chest, there's not really anything to get excited about just yet, since there's only a 12% chance of Ian being able to continue this run, because if he doesn't have a stronghold beneath this village, there's no point on continuing the run with the kind of time Ian is aiming for. He crafts some stone tools before he heads off to the village, where he loots it for beds for the 1 cycle later on. Enough food to suffice his needs, and some iron from a chest and the iron golem, giving him enough for a pickaxe and a bucket. And now it's time to bring the strategy that I mentioned earlier into light: Sprint Strats. If you've watched some of my videos before, chances are you've heard of this strategy, and while I've covered it quite a bit, I'm still going to cover it for new viewers. Minecraft worlds are split into chunks, a 16 by 16 square that goes from the bottom to the top of the world. Of course, with these making up the entirety of your world, this includes structures, strongholds being a type of structure. There's similarities between every stronghold that link into the chunks, most well known that the block 4-4 of 1616 are the beginning blocks of the stronghold. Now, on Java, it's simple to find 4-4 with the F3 screen providing that information, but Bedrock doesn't have F3, and here's where the village comes in handy. Over time, players and strategists notice that the beginning of the strongholds or the starter staircase seem to be roughly in the same area of the village, the fountain, or bell, or tree. There's a few variations from village to village, but either way, they all work the same. With some simple steps, players can find the exact block that leads into the starter staircase, saving all the main steps of actually locating the stronghold with Eyes of Ender, technically giving Bedrock the advantage over Java. Anyway, I just wrote 250 words about a strategy that takes no more than 10 seconds, and we don't even know if Ian has the stronghold under the village or not. Fun. Fortunately, this is the world record, and Ian does in fact have a stronghold, which he then searches around for the portal room, and at about 3.5 minutes, he was entering into the Nether. Just remember, with Ian's former world record of 12 minutes and 29 seconds, he entered the Nether at barely under 5 minutes, over 1.5 minutes slower than his current pace. Pretty solid if you ask me. The Nether spawn didn't grant him with any structures right off the bat. With no F3 screen to scan for bastions and no pie chart to find fortresses, it can be a difficult task to find these sorts of structures. The only real way to find these structures effectively is by searching through different quadrants. Since only one structure can generate in each, you are bound to find something eventually. So this is what Ian does, going positive directions on both axes and finding a treasure type bastion about 30 seconds later. He proceeds with a route known as the Cage Route, which was made by Ian himself, and you might be wondering, why doesn't he use something like Crook's Treasure Route, or the basic Rampart route most runners use? Well, with Bedrock's AI being different to Java's, routes like that are possible, but are harder to pull off, so going with this Cage Route is a good idea. He sets up the platform for the piglins to stand on and then begins breaking gold blocks, luring the piglins towards him and onto the platform to trade the gold. He gets pearls, fire resistance and a ton of blocks from trades, and just under 2 minutes from entering the bastion, he was leaving it, which is a pretty solid pace for any treasure bastion, let alone on mobile, with a harder route to pull off as well. Within no time, Ian spotted a fortress. At this point, Ian is minutes ahead of his 12:29, but by the time he's entering the fortress, Cube 1337X, the world record holder on Java Edition, was already about to exit the Nether, and it's not like Ian can blind travel either, like Cube had done. Ian still had to travel all the way back to his entry portal to get back to the stronghold, but remember the loot he got at the beginning of the run?
We had such an exciting science adventure today. What was your favorite part of the trip?
That's right, a looting 3 sword. With perfect luck, you can get up to 4 blaze rods from a singular blaze, and to nobody's surprise, Ian just got 8 blaze rods from 3 blazes, meaning he now has a chance at beating Cube's world record, and almost a certain chance of beating Kiwiest Burb's 9:55 world record, if enough goes in Ian's favour. All he's got to do now is make his way back to the overworld, which leaves him with about 300 blocks of travelling left to arrive at his original portal. Doing so, and in a short time too, with the excess pearls he had, he enters his portal at a low 8 minutes, which is actually behind Cube's world record, with Cube already being in the end by 7 minutes and 45 seconds. And it's not like Cube had a slow perch either, a rather fast one actually, going going 2 for 13 on the Dragon Perch, hence why he got a 908, whereas Ian is entering the end at 8 minutes and 10 seconds, almost an entire 30 seconds behind, and there's not much Ian can do than just hope to not get screwed on his own Dragon Perch. Minecraft Bedrock speedrunning is far, far different to anything the likes of Java speedrunning. Completely different strategies, different seeds, different playstyles between the versions. It's almost like putting two completely different people side by side and calling them twins. Minecraft Pocket Edition speedrunning, that's a whole different story. With a small screen and your two little thumbs to beat an entire game as fast as possible, that's something I find pretty cool. And while most people find it as a disadvantage to play on mobile, and in reality it is, with enough trial and error, all we can say is that practice makes perfect. And that's exactly what Ian proved on the 9th of July, 194 days after the last Bedrock World Record by Kiwiest Burb. Ian would take the crown for himself. With the run already being up on the leaderboards, Ian's run has a final time of 9 minutes and 9 seconds. And I know that this video's thumbnail does say 901, and I assure you there's a reason for that. You see, in Java Edition, when you pause or loading to different dimensions, your game freezes and it doesn't have anything loaded, whereas on Bedrock, pausing doesn't do that and still keeps the game loaded, which is why on Java leaderboards, you see 2 times, one being RTA or real-time attack, meaning the total time from start to end, and IGT, or in-game time, being start to finish, but removing pauses besides some exceptions, which there are a large list of rules to make pausing times fair. As I said before, Bedrock doesn't have IGT, only RTA, so that's why Ian's time is actually 9 minutes and 9 seconds, but it looks like at the moment the speedrunning community is accepting this run as a 901, since if it was counted as in-game time, it would be a 901, making it the fastest run in all of 1.16.1 RSG and completely done on a tablet. Go show Ian as much love as you can. He deserves all that he can get, and he's nearing to 5,000 subscribers too, which that's a pretty big number, which also sounds pretty cool to reach. And speaking of big milestones, I set a goal at the start of the year to hit 10,000 subscribers, which I'm pretty far from that at the moment. But from now on, no more big breaks. This video marks a change in my channel, and I'm going to try my absolute best to hit that insane goal of 10,000 by 2023. And if you could help me out by subscribing if you haven't already, or recommend me to a friend, it would mean the world. Thank you all so much for watching. It really means the world, and I hope you enjoyed, and I hope I see all of you in the next video. Goodbye everyone.